Hello, class. Welcome to Critical Thinking. I am your instructor. My name is Dr. Hornbeck, and this is technically a philosophy course, so one of your gen eds. Critical thinking, I believe, is probably the class that will make you the smartest in terms of learning how to evaluate information and discover what is true and what is false. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and go over the syllabus with you. Give me just a moment. It should be right here in Word. And here it is. Okay, so I'm going to scroll right up here. And just to remind you that my email is right here if you need to reach out to me. And feel free to do that. I generally get back to you within 24 hours. We're going to, within this course, we're going to define critical thinking. I know that probably critical thinking is something that is confusing right now. What does that really mean? But as we get through the course, you'll understand more about what critical thinking really is. It is, by the way, a skill that employers look for, as well as other educated people when we're evaluating people we want to work with. So it's we're going to discuss what's called higher order thinking, and we're going to look at why it's important to be able to think critically. Okay, so our class starts on the 2nd of May, and we will be meeting in class on Thursday at 5:30. Okay, and you can expect the class to last the entire 2.5 hours. Okay, because there's a lot to cover. Looking at this, your learning engagements, notice that your learning engagements are a lot of points if you add them up over 8 weeks. So I will give you some guidance on how to do it in the way that I expect. One thing I want to say is your responses are super important. Notice the learning engagement post is 14 points. The responses are 8 points each. That means if you just do the post and don't respond, you will fail the learning engagement. So don't do that. Give me enough points to work with. Okay, you can also see that you have quizzes every week. You're going to have a midterm in week 4 and a case study in week 6, and we will be preparing for that. Okay, so you will have your final exam, of course, in week 8. All right, you can see how the numbers are laid out here. You're going to decide for yourself what kind of grade that you want, but this tells you how it lays out. So to pass the class, you want to get at least a C, and that would be at least 70 points or 70%. I hope that what you're going for is an A, and I'm functioning as if that's what you're going for. Okay, so make sure that you're doing your learning engagements every week. Okay, so in week 1, we are going to be in chapter 1. It's called Driving Blindfolded. This is where we lay the foundation of what critical thinking is. And you do your learning engagement, you respond to 2 peers. I'll be covering the PowerPoints and emphasizing things that are on the test and things that I want you to know. Okay, so, and you've got the videos in there too. That's your supplementary online material. Make sure to watch the videos. Okay, in week 2, we're going to talk about 2 different kinds of reasoning. I will be explaining what that is. We'll have the learning engagements. Make sure to respond. I will make sure to lecture properly, and you have the videos as well. Make sure that you're using the course material. Okay, week 3, we're covering clear thinking, critical thinking, and clear writing. This is where we bring in the writing piece. Notice the reading in there, and make sure that you're doing your learning engagements. This is where you're going to start the draft of your case study as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. Week 4. Week 4 also has a case study draft. It has the midterm. Notice that it has the reading from chapter 5 and 6 and your learning engagements. Then in week 5, we're doing chapter 7 and 8. We're going to be dealing with something you may have never heard of, but is super important when you're thinking logically, is we're going to talk about induction fallacies and fallacies in general, fallacies of language, formal fallacies. We're going to go through all of them. They're really interesting. And you're going to have your case study do it. You're going to be drafting your case study as well. In week 6, this is where your case study is due, 2 to 3 pages, not including the references. We're going to cover categorical logic. And of course, your learning engagements in my lecture. Make sure you're here for that, because this is where I really tell you, this is what I want to see on the case study. Okay, week 7. Is that right? Yeah. Week 7, chapter 10. This is where we discuss deductive arguments. And we're going to be looking at truth and functional logic. Very important. When you learn these things and you function this way, people tend to think you're smarter. So that's one of the reasons critical thinking is so important to business professionals. Okay, so, and all professionals. So we, at this point, you're going to be studying for your final exam. Of course, you're going to continue to do your learning engagements. Then we get into week 8, and that's chapter 12. Where this is where we get into the moral and legal and aesthetic reasoning. I can tell you this is very, very important. And your learning engagements, of course, I will be lecturing on chapter 12, even though it's week 8, I do continue to lecture. And then you will have your final exam. Okay, so don't forget about netiquette. Let's be, especially in a class like this that can get controversial, it's going to be important to me that you don't speak over each other. I'll be talking to you about that in the classroom so that we can hear each other's ideas and treat each other with respect. Okay, American with Disabilities Act. If you have a registered disability and you need an accommodation, be sure to talk to the office and I will make the accommodation as requested. Diversity and inclusion, guys, I want you guys to be open to each other's thoughts. So you might read through that in terms of how we treat each other with respect in the classroom and online. Academic policy, guys, no cheating and no plagiarism, especially plagiarism. Do not cut and paste. Make sure you're writing in your own words and you're citing. We'll talk about that more later. I will not be changing the syllabus, okay? And here is the website for the campus, but I want to remind you that my email is right up here. So reach out to me if you are confused about anything. If something's happening in your life and you're getting behind, let me know ahead of time, as soon as you know. Okay, so I can help you. All right, guys, I'm super looking forward to this class. It's one of my favorite ones to teach. So I will see you on we'll start class on Monday the 2nd. I will see you in class on the 5th at 5:30. Okay, guys, looking forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.